right, good afternoon and welcome everybody. This is your host of the day, Regan Archibald, and really excited to see you lovely folks out there today. And we got the OG himself, Regan Archibald, here with us. He's been jamming all weekend on some really cool content for you guys. Let's dive in, Regan. I know we talked a little bit about jumping into some longevity stuff. But we got some cool topics to cover today.
Today, we're going to be talking about some very fun things that relate to longevity. So we're going to just we're going to give you a little bit of an overview of the latest Health Accelerator Challenge that I've been doing. And, you know, we do these, I share these with you guys periodically so that it gives you some inspiration about building out your curriculum and really start digging into how you want to educate your patient base, because I can tell you there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way. But these Health Accelerator Challenges, so our latest one that we've been running our patients through is called the 90 days for a 7-year extension, lifespan extension. So the whole goal is aligning lifespan with health span. And so I go through in this challenge and we open it up by talking about regenerative medicine, and then we jump into mitochondria. And so essentially we have a weekly challenge that we take our patients through so that they stay engaged, because our brains love novelty and our brains love challenges. And so I realized in creating a new curriculum for our patients, I said, we've got to have something that keeps them super motivated. So let's jump in. But just to give you guys an idea, some of the opportunities you have when you start developing a curriculum for your patient is then you're building a community that your patients can actually hook into. And so it's different than when you're trying to get them in for multiple visits. You know, you need to be in 3 times a week. Well, that's great, but what are they doing when they're not in your clinic? And that's where I found that these Health Accelerator Challenges are pretty incredible. So today I'm going to give you an inside scoop on our latest 90-day challenge, and you guys can see how we go through this. But just from a show of hands, how many of you actually have patients who come in for longevity? But longevity is a big deal, because what most of us have is this mindset that, you know, I'm going to just, kind of leave it up to fate how long I'm going to live. And there's not really anything I can do about my aging. But I can tell you, according to a lot of researchers, the most dangerous thing and the most damaging disease that can ever occur in our lifetime is aging. Certainly beats the alternative, but if you look at the amount of people who die every day, it's 150,000 people, and about 100,000 of those are dying from aging, from causes due to aging. So there's a lot of opportunity here. So one of the hacks that we went through is all about mitochondrial health. And we talked about mitochondria and the cardiovascular system. We went through some of the mitochondrial derived peptides. And Kate, you're aware of these peptides. So MOTS-c is a big one.
Oh yeah, I love MOTS-c.
MOTS-c is MOTS-C. MOTS-c is a mitochondrial derived peptide. And what the research shows is that it activates the skeletal muscle system. It works on the GLUT4 transporters. So you actually can get energy right into the cell without the presence of insulin. And so it stops insulin resistance. It also builds skeletal muscle. And in one study, they took mice that were 12 months old. So that's like an elderly mice. And then they took 3-month-old mice and they looked at the MOTS-c in the skeletal muscle, and they looked at factors that were related to aging. And they said, well, the older mice start losing MOTS-c. And so what if we do injections in these mice? Every day they did injections of MOTS-c for 7 days. And then they compared it after 28 days. Then they went and they took biopsies out of the skeletal muscle of these 12-month-old mice. And they had the same type of MOTS-c expression as the younger mice. And their performance increased so that they had similar endurance and muscular strength as the younger mice with MOTS-c. And so that's something you can do when you start coupling these lifestyles with peptides. That's when you can really start maximizing the outcomes you're getting. So if you're not trying these on yourself, you're really missing out, because you'll find that you'll have less sugar cravings. You won't be as hungry when you're on MOTS-c. You'll also notice your mitochondria get primed, and you'll be a beast on a mountain bike. That was my big experiment. I don't know if you remember that, Cade. My big experiment was when I was able to climb Puke Hill. And after being on MOTS-c for 90 days, I did my 90-day cycle of it. And Puke Hill was where you're basically climb about 2,500 feet in elevation. And when you get to the top, you're at 10,000 feet. And they call it Puke Hill because you literally see people up there throwing up by the time they make it. And I was able to shave 3 minutes off my time, even though I had not been mountain biking at all. So MOTS-c is a very powerful peptide. So get that in there.
It is a great one. The biggest thing I can say from my experience has just been a ton more. I guess I shouldn't say a ton more. I always have good energy, but just like long lasting energy throughout the day.
Yes.
That was my experience.
Yeah, it's pretty darn fun. And so I give our participants, we talk about peptides almost every week, some kind of cool supplement, Chinese herb, and nutrition. And then I give them a challenge. So the mitochondria challenge, and I'm going to give this one to you guys this week, is where you want to do 30 seconds of max effort. You can do this sprinting. Sprinting is going to be your best. You can do it on a bike. Like get on your Peloton. You can do it on a like an elliptical machine. You can do, I do it with the ropes sometimes, and that's a big one. I do it with the medicine ball where you pick it up and slam it. But so you do 30 seconds, like all out, like 110%, and then you have 4 minutes of a mild effort, and you repeat that 5 times. So yeah, it's about a 22-23 minute workout, but that's a great way of priming your mitochondria. There's a study done in the Journal of Exercise and Sports Physiology, and they found that this was where you got the highest levels of mitophagy. So the mitochondria that was no longer useful, you got rid of that. And then you also had mitogenesis. So you have some nice new mitochondrial growth. So yeah, there you go. That's mitochondria. So that's one. Then we went to the blue zones. So blue zones, I don't know. Once again, I'm giving you guys some ideas and showing you what we do. We're big fans of Picasso. So we always say, Picasso early in his career, all he did was copy other artists. And so you guys can copy this and put together your own 90-day longevity program. It's very simple, but I just took some of the concepts that I'd already been studying, regenerative medicine, then I went into mitochondria because our last session 3, Einstein's medicine, we focused on the mitochondrial health. And then I just went through the major books that I've read on longevity, and blue zones, of course, is one of those. And so talked about where it came from. Here's the 5 blue zones. And if you guys are not familiar with these, you certainly will want to check it out. Loma Linda is an interesting blue zone. It's in California, and it's a blue zone because one of the ideas is it's a big Seventh-day Adventist place. And it's a religion where they're primarily vegetarian. It's a very spiritual community. There's a lot of fasting. And so they think that they attribute it to that, so every region kind of has its own, their own science and research around it. So we went through that. We talked about the people in Costa Rica and what their diets are like, and the culture of that. Talked about Italy. Here's Greece. And I don't know about you, Cade, but this makes me want to travel. When we did this event, I was like, I got to get back to Europe.
Oh yeah, it definitely did. No, I think it was just really intriguing how community, like some of the biggest factors in these blue zones were like a social community, And really the crazy thing, I was expecting it to be like elevation would have something to do with it, or weather. It didn't seem like weather or elevation had anything to do with it. I think, yeah, Jade makes up a good point. Organic food. So like, yeah, definitely a good community-based food. Whether it was if I'm remembering right, there was like, lots of like good food sources or clean food sources. Um, around all those different blue zone areas.
Yay.
So it's really cool. And yes, definitely made, I've only been to like the UK part of Europe. So definitely made me want to go explore some other areas.
Yes. And so, as we did this, I mean, we're just giving people ideas. I mean, you look at the study of the people in Greece, 6 out of 10 individuals over the age of 90 participated in regular physical activity, including walking and other moderate intensity activities. People over 90 in America, I mean, there's nursing homes that we built, and we get them so damn medicated that all they can barely like push a button on a remote. And I think it's criminal the way that we treat our elderly people. And so, that's one of the reasons I'm talking about this to my audience. Like, do not let that happen to you. There's so much value that you can add no matter what age you're at. So we talked about Okinawa, Japan, and shared some of my own personal experiences having a Japanese sensei, Dr. Maekawa, who is in her 80s. She's in her mid 80s, and she's like Gumby. She's so flexible. It's insane. She lives up there in Kona, Hawaii, above the Kona airport. There's this neighborhood up on the mountain, and she's got the most gorgeous ocean view. Her clinic's in the downstairs of her house there, and she just lives such a simple, peaceful, loving life. And it's pretty incredible because she's got no arthritis. She's not overweight at all, even though she eats like a beast. I mean, she can put down sushi like no one's business. But she's super fit, super kind. So I shared some of that. And then we talked about the 9 things. They found these nine reasons why these people in the blue zones live longer. And so once again, it's not a lot of work to, you don't have to get super creative and reinvent the wheel. You can just share and bring new insights that they probably didn't know about. And so, that's all we do here. And then we got to the next one, and I shared another great book. And this is one that you guys have heard us talk about at Go Wellness, especially when it comes to sirtuin activation, and some of the research on, those pathways and NAD. But this is by David Sinclair. It's Lifespan, Why We Age and Why We Don't Have to. And this is one where we talked about cleaning up your genes. And so once again, we talked about the 9 hallmarks of aging. And if you're not familiar with this, I think you guys, the 9 hallmarks of aging is something that as we progress in our regenerative and functional medicine, this becomes more and more appealing to people. I think that the amount of patients who come to me originally because they want their pain handled, that's the big thing. And then it's like, I want my pain handled, and then I want to learn how to live longer with more energy and more vitality. And so if you can have some solutions for those, the 9 hallmarks of aging are great because, it all shows if you can address each one of these facets in your program. I mean, imagine if you took somebody through a 9-month program that was all around longevity. I mean, that would be pretty simple to do because it's already there. It's created for you. You'd say, okay, well, step 1, we're going to go through stem cell exhaustion. We're going to show you ways, and we're going to replenish your stem cells. And whether you're using perinatal tissue products or you're using exosomes or something else, but you replenish the stem cells. And then you go through altered intracellular communication, genomic instability, telomere attrition. So every month you're addressing those things, and you have testing, you have treatments, and then you have a curriculum around it. You got yourself one of the most robust longevity programs available. So, and that's a $25,000 program, right, Cade? It's not, people will pay for this. So if this is a niche that you want to go down, this is an opportunity that's there for you. Hey everybody, Regan Archibald here with Go Wellness. And if you liked this episode, if it actually helped inspire you to be a better practitioner, help more people, establish a much better foundation for your business, then I'm going to ask a favor of you. And that favor is for you to share this with somebody you care about and love in the healthcare field. I don't mind if it's an acupuncturist, a functional medicine practitioner of any sorts, a naturopathic doctor, a medical doctor, any type of endocrinologist or specialist. We need to get this community strong, and we can't do it without your help. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the hard work you're putting in and day out. I know it can be a grind, especially with some of the chronic cases that you're treating, but this show will help transform the way that you think, help transform the way you practice, and change the lives of thousands. Thank you for being part of our community.